Devil May Cry 2013. What can I say about it? It was okay. You know? It was pretty good. I wish the combat was harder. A lot harder. Mundus at the end of the game was a huge disappointment. I was expecting him to be so much more badass. I thought I had to fight him like 4 different times. You know? Didn't even use up all my health items and shit. But, alright. Let me make this little pseudo review real quick of while the game is fresh in my mind. What can I say about it? Alright. Starting off, wasn't a fan of the art style. But, you know, to each their own. I mean, they didn't tailor make the game for me. But, wasn't a fan of it. The Limbo stuff, it was cool in the beginning to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was like every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Then I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Like, let's say like every 3 or 4 missions, you know what I'm saying? It was like they had me go into Limbo and fight a boss or something. But every 5 seconds in the game, it's like a game mechanic. I can understand why they did it, but to me, they didn't need to. I mean, they probably did it so they can make the levels how they want, and they could express their artistic side in making the levels and just all that shit. That was cool, but like I said, they could have had it every 5 seconds and then had you fight demons in the real world, maybe. Or maybe if you wanted to still have that, you could have just like go to the demon realm and fight demons and shit, you know? They didn't have to just do Limbo every 5 seconds. It got kind of tiring. I mean, maybe, some of y'all, maybe that's not how it feels, but to me, that's how it felt after a while. The graphics in the game, the level design was pretty good. The Limbo stuff was pretty good. The bright colors were pretty good. Character models were shitty as shit. Like, you got Dante, Virgil, and Kat. They were decent. But everybody else, like Mundus, his bitch, his kid, all the different other characters you see in the game, like background and shit, they were all shit. The buildings and stuff, they were bland, textureless when you saw them from afar. Maybe that's a technical difficulty, but, it just seemed like that's where they cut corners. I mean, they cut corners with every game, so I'm not knocking them for that, but since I'm just, discussing graphics, I gotta point it out. Sound design, when it came to voice work, Dante, all that stuff was done pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Music could have been a whole lot better, though. Like, it seems like they only play, like, this song, the one that's playing now in the credits, and maybe, like, 2 other ones. You know what I'm saying? That was it. It wasn't as memorable as, like, Devils Never Cry from the older one, or a few riffs from the older one, it's like generic new metal or something. I don't know. I really don't know what genre it is, but the writing in the voice work, it was juvenile as shit, but besides that, it could have been better. Like, I didn't like Mundus. I'm not talking about the voice actor. He was actually okay for Mundus. I didn't like his bitch when it came to voice actors, but what I mean by writing is like how well written the game is. Mundus' dialogues with Dante, Dante's dialogues with him, Mundus overseeing everything, like, oh, I gotta go get Dante. It could have been done a whole lot better. What I did like about it was those ones that Dante had with Virgil and Dante had with Kat to kind of let you get to know him a little bit better. That was done pretty good. I like that. I would have liked to see more of that, especially from, like, Mundus' side of things and his history with Sparta and how they got to that point. That was something they just didn't do. What else can I talk about? The fun factor of the game? The fun factor is there. Don't get me wrong. But it seems like they took the old school Devil May Cry formula. I'm just talking about, combat. I'm not talking about level design and all that. They took a couple elements of the older games and dumbed it down. Not a lot, but a little. And they didn't dumb it down completely for noobs, but for somebody like myself, or if you're one of those type of hardcore players that master every combo and do all of the in-depth combos and all of that extra shit, like you can run through normal and not get fucked up. This game is on easy mode on Nephilim. Like I said, I mean that's what this difficulty's played on. I didn't do the devil, Dante Must Die and all of that extra shit. I'm sure I seen that they had it in there, but maybe those modes are harder. So I'm just based on Nephilim difficulty. This game seems easy. I'm sure it gets harder with those, but I was expecting the game to be more difficult, if that makes sense. I can think back to a couple instances in the older Devil May Cry games where once you got to certain points, the game would just whoop your ass. Like when you fought Virgil in his double trigger mode, or what do they call him, Nichelangelo or something like that from the older ones, he would whoop your ass until you beat him, And another thing that I wouldn't really say I dislike it, but the level of moves. And what I mean by that is the number of combos that they could have been bumped up a little bit. They didn't need them. I'm just saying they could have been bumped up. But what I didn't like about that was all of your little abilities that you needed throughout the game. I liked it better in the older one. And what I mean by that is, in the older game, you needed certain moves to traverse the environment. Like the air hike, the double jump. You needed that to get to certain places, to get to a certain door, to get to a certain boss. That's you had to buy those moves in order to access certain areas of the map. In this, once you got the 2 grappling hooks, that was it. That's the whole game right there. And I don't know who decided that color coding system. So like, okay, and I can understand them dividing combat, but it's like some little kid shit. Like, okay, in order to, go over here, I need to pull that, or I need to grapple that, or I need to destroy this one light guy with angel weaponry. That made no fucking sense because they're fucking demons. What do they got angel powers for anyway? That's what I'm saying. It was just stupid when it came to that. It went against your story of your game. I would understand if, let's say, Dante was more like Spawn and you fighting demons and heaven. So then, okay, I use angel weapons against demons and use demonic weapons against heaven. It makes sense. But in this, no, you're fighting demons. Why do I have to use angel weapons to fight demons? To fight certain demons and then use demonic weapons to fight other ones. It makes no sense. But the game was okay. Like I said, the fun factor was there. I didn't go into it thinking a whole lot because I know, I wasn't a fan of the art style and I wasn't like, I thought it was going to fuck it up, to be honest. And everybody was bitching about it before it came out. And then when I started playing it, it was cool. Like, it was just like, okay, they didn't fuck it up. It's just a different taste on it. You know what I'm saying? But I can appreciate what they did. Like, they took the formula of Devil May Cry and all that shit, and they just tried to reinvent the franchise. Because, it's what they did. It's what they did with Halo. It's what they did with Black Ops 2. They're trying to reinvent Devil May Cry, and you couldn't really do that after Part 3. Like, I could look at Devil May Cry 4. Yeah, it was fun. It was cool. But the story had nowhere to go. They had to completely pull something out of their ass and make up some shit. Whereas the old Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3, you were beating Mundus and all of that, and it was just like, you were killing demons. That was Dante's job. Whereas in Part 4, it was about this other guy doing this other shit, and Dante just happened to be in it. So they didn't have nowhere to go story wise. So I think that there were some things that I didn't like about the game story wise. Like I said, Mundus could have been done a whole lot better. Other than just killing demons, it felt like the whole game you were killing random demons until you got to Mundus. And I know that sounds difficult, but what I mean by that is, in the older Devil May Cry games, when you came across a boss, they would talk to you. Like, they would have a couple sentences talking about why they couldn't let you pass or whatever. They had each boss had a personality to them, or most of them did. I can't remember if all of them did, but I remember You know, most of them did. But in this, they were just like, okay, like the one Slurm monster had a personality. But it seemed like there was only like 3 or 4 bosses in the game. And then the rest were like those stronger normal enemies that would just glow and whoop your ass and shit like that. And you fought more of them than you did bosses. I wish that this game followed the older formula of that. You do a mission, and at the end of that mission is a boss. Then you go to the next mission. You do that mission as a boss. You know, and go so on and so on. Whereas in this, it's just like you had mission completes in between the damn levels. And I don't know if it was designed that way, but I mean, maybe it was, or maybe they just had to cut some things out, or maybe they was on a time schedule so they couldn't put everything that they wanted to do in it. But I mean, it was fun. The fun factor's there. If you're one of those old school Devil May Cry fans who never really, you know what I'm saying, thought about picking this up, I would say pick it up. I mean, is it gonna hold up to the badass Devil May Cry experience of Part 1 and Part 3? No. Is it trying to? Hell no. It's just a different take on a different experience upon the story that you already know and like, you know. But, like I said, I mean, try it for yourself. If you bump up the difficulty, that's what I would tell you. Try it for yourself, but turn up the difficulty. Because the core gameplay, as far as combos and as far as doing all that extra shit like that, that's still there. You know, leveling up your moves, leveling up your weapons, fighting bad guys, seeing how badass you can make your combos and stuff look. That fun factor is still there. It just seems that they toned it back by like 5%. Like, to me, it seems like the combat seems slower. I don't know if this game runs at a lower frame rate than the older ones, but it seems like combat is a little bit slower. You still got some of the same moves as in the older games, but you do them a little bit differently. You also get, I think, a couple new weapons. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it evens out. It's a new game. It's a new experience. And with the way that they ended it, with Dante going against Virgil, they can take it anywhere they want. You know what I'm saying? They can have a new bad guy come up later who was like somebody who was under Mundus, but he wasn't strong enough to beat Mundus, but now that you beat him, now he's coming up and taking over. Dante has to stop him, and Virgil could come by every once in a while and be like the anti-hero Vegeta character, like, you know what I'm saying, and work with Dante for a little bit and then dip out, because that's how he was in the older ones. But it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Mankind could come up and do some fucked up shit that you gotta stop. I mean, they could take the story anywhere they want. And I think maybe that's what they wanted to do from the beginning, so. Alright, if you've been watching this Let's Play that long, you know, let me know down in the comments how'd you like it. How'd you dislike it? I'm pretty sure some of you guys are tired of me just, you know, beating ass with Ifrit all day, but, you know, it worked. So, but like and favorite if that's what you want to do. Hit up the comment box and let me know what your thoughts were. And, you know, stay tuned for more. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.